I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, consideration of any changes or additions to the agenda.
So we have town garage cleaning item, fire department update, which I think Billy wants it to happen after we do the update on the ambulance
Okay.
service. Is that right? We'll talk about the rescue building first, and then you'll
Sure, however you guys want
go.
to.
Okay. And then going forward, Billy wants to give a report every month. Is that right, Billy?
Yeah, so
Okay.
every month I just want to, do something new, I just want to come in and give a chance for the town folk to be able to ask questions or any updates, just so I know what's going on. So.
And then the last one is just an announcement of the closure on New Year's Day.
We also need to add on for animal control.
Okay.
Animal control, and did you want to do junk too?
We have an animal control update thing if you want to put other news there too.
Okay, nope, that's, I missed, I overlooked that one. Okay. Okay, consideration of any changes or additions. Other than the 3 additions I have here. One is town garage cleaning, fire department update. And the other one is town closed for New Year's Day, the office, so that will be down for announcements. Okay, is there a motion for the approval of the November 14th, 2023 minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as drafted for the November 14, 23.
Minutes, I'll second it. The ayes? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to the reports. Highway transfer station update. Clinton?
I got the hydraulic study for Beaver Meadow, for that 5-foot culvert that we put in, temporary culvert. The arch pipe is 128 inches wide by 83 inches high. That's for corrugated. Or a 10-foot by 7-foot box culvert. I believe FEMA's gonna pay for it. So.
Which one?
It's the one that got washed out during the flood.
Which roads are?
Beaver
Meadow.
Meadow.
Oh, yes.
I think that was a requirement from them to go to that style culvert for them to
Box.
cover it. Well,
The box.
either the crushed one or the.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would if FEMA's gonna pay for it, let's go with the concrete.
That would
It'll
hold
last
up better,
a lot
wouldn't it?
longer than. I don't know if we
We'll have to
get
valid-
an engineer to.
We'll have to validate that they will still cover that.
It's still an open project.
Okay, good.
So,
Yeah.
that's.
No, I agree. The concrete's,
And then we got the other one for, in the village, Belmont.
Mhm.
But we need to get an engineer for that one. They wouldn't give us anything on that without an engineer, so,
that's the one under the porch.
yeah. And then the other thing I have is uniforms. I know we still got a contract with Foley's. Chad's been with us for a couple months now, and he still hasn't got any pants from them. We reached out to them. They came, well, they didn't come. They sent a couple pairs of pants. They were the wrong size. They sent some more. They were still the wrong size. Yeah, it's been a nightmare with them. So So I contacted UniFirst and I'd like to switch over with them. I know our contract with Foley's doesn't end until April, I think. But
Do you want me to call and see if they'll?
yeah, I mean, call and say, see what they'll do. If we got to, I would just soon get UniFirst started. I mean, if we have to pay for it ourselves for a month, so be it, or whatever.
Was the quote cheaper?
Yeah, it's $13.94 a week versus $15, and they're still charging us for Chad's pants, which he doesn't have.
Oh, no.
And the second batch of clothes that they sent,
Oh, no.
they charged us for a setup fee. So,
Let's reach out to Foley's.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's, and you
Let's give them
can't,
an ultimatum.
Okay, yeah.
you can't get a hold of anybody to talk to, and
I think I got email addresses for them when we
I do too,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's
And
reach
I
out.
saw where you guys had
It's
last
for the
year.
less money.
way back. Yeah.
Like 3 years ago, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think it was a 48 month contract and it ramped up over time, from
Yeah.
what I could see from the emails.
So there's got to be a clause in there, like
So-
if they're not providing service.
There might be like
Get us a paperwork done.
Computers, our
University
computers were
stuff.
down for
Yeah.
I think we
2
have it here, right?
My
Yeah.
dentist
Yeah, I
at
think I gave
Stratton
you a
Road, they
copy
lost
of
their
it.
computers.
yeah,
Yeah, it's in the
2
packet,
days.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll call them and I'll just see, worst case
Crazy stuff
scenario
going
is we
on.
have to like slog along till April, right?
Right.
Like, but we'll try to get
Yeah, I mean,
out of it.
it's gonna take them at least 6 weeks to get pants and stuff from UniFirst, but
Anyway, okay,
anyway, but
okay.
at least they'll be right. I mean, she's already came, she brought clothes, we tried them, you know, they were nice,
Okay.
but,
The other thing UniFirst provides also is the rug service.
yeah.
Yeah.
They do have clean rugs. They'll do both here and at the town garage.
Okay, we'll reach out to them.
John, you got a question?
I just had a,
Yes,
if
John.
he's not done, that's fine, but I had a
No.
question about Beaver Meadow.
Yep,
I don't know if you guys had, or Jeff or anybody had heard from Noah, I think there was a NGS benchmark there next to the bridge, or at least there was before the storm.
Yeah, we never heard.
That's like kind of a big deal that a benchmark would be lost, so I'm hoping that it was the storm and not, road work, but, I just didn't know if
We
they,
didn't really dig much more of it, like that thing was all blown apart.
yeah.
so it was on the southwest side,
Downhill.
yeah.
They got pretty hit on the storm.
But we can reach out to US.
It's Noah, I think, NGS.
And just let them know that the
Yeah.
flood took it out and
Yeah,
not us. Get ahead of it.
right, that's what I heard about, because the other ones are all there, the chat, so.
So that one there, we want to have an engineer involved. Like it's kind of some towns just put it upon get bids and put it upon the contractor to engineer. I guess we can reach out to FEMA and
Yeah, I have a
because
meeting
it's
tomorrow.
sized. It's more like grades and stuff have to be figured out.
I
Right.
can ask when I meet with them. I have a meeting scheduled tomorrow, but I
Okay.
think they're probably, if we
Might as well just-
need an engineer.
Yeah,
my
might as
guess
well
would be
just
they'll be
involve it if it's getting
open
paid.
to that
Yeah.
without problem. 'Cause they don't wanna repair it again the next time there's a storm.
We have an RFP that we.
Correct.
Well, no, it's sized. The engineer's not going to resize it. It's more
Yeah.
we had Arctic Creek do the work, but they didn't really design it. They just threw some grades and elevation. So, find out, and then we can do an RFP for either right to the contractor or for engineering. Start drafting that up for the next meeting so we can look at it.
If there's any info that you can share, that would be helpful for me in the conversation with you.
Yeah. I can write. We'll start with that one, and then the other one was we'll get that one going, and then work on the Star Lake one, which is more involved.
And less likely to be covered by FEMA.
Yeah, so I'll ask that question too.
I did include the state hydraulic
Brian?
report
Yeah.
from Brian in your packet
Yeah.
for reference.
Yeah.
If you can forward the one for Beaver Meadow to us, I'd get back to it.
Transfer station. We really need to get out there because Pete's been sick and we've been having to fill in and so.
Liz, were you able to run the numbers on?
It's essentially if the town, one of the road crew guys ends up filling in, which is what has been happening, then we're paying either, say, 1.5 times what the normal rate would be, or 2+ per hour, because now that we've hit winter season, it's overtime, almost guaranteed to be overtime for the guys, so it's really just stressing the road crew. There's also, I know when we had our last visit, where we got cited for a few things, the potential of a fine was hanging out there if they come back, and we're slacking just after getting things in conform. And that was a $10,000?
10.
Yeah, so it's
Potentially, yeah.
potentially, which hopefully we've fixed things, but just keeping them.
We looking at another full-time attendant during those hours?
Yeah. Well,
Which would be helpful for down in the middle,
even, I mean, it just
all around.
all around.
Yes.
One thought is that it's a small grant, but the grant from Rutland County Solid Waste Department includes activities that cover, education. And I did talk with Brianna. I don't know if the Conservation Commission, if anyone is here.
Hello, yeah, can I, yeah, we discovered that the grants that we were looking at from the Rutland County Solid Waste District have been discontinued. So we're not the only thing that we're going to be doing on that is to try and get some composting stuff for people at cost. And we haven't done that yet. So
Happy to do this if the select board wants to move in this direction. There is a grant that's still open, that's a 50-50 grant, and she said signage, new brochures, corrected brochures, if we edit the current brochure to have the updated guidelines, and educational activities, which an attendant could perform, would fall under that grant. I think the max is $5,000 and it's a 50-50, so it's not gonna cover like the salary of someone year round, but it could contribute staff hours that are involved in preparing those materials, preparing signage, and educating people at the transfer station could fall under that grant. So in any case, it's not a huge amount of money, but there could be a little offset from that grant to go toward an attendant who is willing to be.
Yeah, because we don't need the attendant to physically move anything. It's
No.
policing, basically.
Right.
It's policing.
Yes. Yeah.
Educating.
Educating. Yeah. Yeah. So if you guys want, I could draft that
Yes.
with kind of drawing up what the town would probably spend anyway to do those things, and half of it could potentially be covered. And Brianna did say she would work with us to just make sure it could, they want to encourage us to apply. So she said she would work with us to make sure it conforms to what they can fund.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I think it sounds great.
Okay.
Our total attendant budget for the year is less than 17,000, so it's a pretty,
Yeah.
we did increase the sticker
Right.
price this year, so we have some wiggle room.
Yeah. So 2,500 would be
I think that's very reasonable.
somewhat notable. Yeah. Okay. I will work on that.
And we've had no interest in a part-time position with the transfer station, so.
We haven't we haven't publicized a steady role yet, just waiting to hear whether it was feasible. We
Right.
have publicized a on-call and we've gotten zero interest,
Right.
which is not super surprising. If we do put out that it's regular hours needed, we may get interest from somebody who's willing to do that. I don't know. Do you guys want to put that in like the Vermont Journal or just the chit chat to start? Chit chat
Chit
to
chat.
start, okay.
Yeah.
See if we can get somebody local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
See if there's interest.
I also reached out to Charlie Boys on a new truck, Freightliner. Looking about 150,000 for just the cab and chassis. Another 92,000 for the wing and plow, so.
That's with the body. The night.
Yeah, that's with the body. So, I did talk to ATG about another Western Star. He's got 13 of them ordered. He does have our name on one of them. We don't, I mean,
Right.
he ordered them, they're coming in. That would be probably middle of summer that when the body's getting put on it, so.
Yeah, you wouldn't see it till next year.
Well, it'd be after
Fall.
July
It would be
1st, yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a price on it yet because he buys them with automatics. So I'm not 100% on an automatic yet, so.
Alright.
But I'll have a better figure next month.
Okay.
And that's all I have right now.
How's the scrap metal?
We looked at that. I know you guys were talking about getting a container. Chad and I looked at it the other day. We were talking about maybe moving the electrical box and the two, the swap shop shed and then the bottles and cans shed over to the other side of the parking lot and building out where the swap shed is and that, and they could back the other container right beside it, and then they could back in, or we could make it so they can loop up right up and around to put the metal in.
That would be kind of a summer project.
Yeah. But I mean, we could get a container now, you know, and just leave it down there and have it open.
And then have the appliances in another section altogether.
Yeah,
And we cannot accept refrigerators, anything with Freon.
Right.
unless we go to the class and be able to take the Freon out ourselves.
It's just as well to have them take them to policing.
Casella did ask, they just said whenever we want them to deliver the container, they'll do it, but there's no rush, and you can have Hubbard take away whatever you want prior to that point.
Yeah.
So just, they said just let them know whenever you're ready.
Okay.
So figure out when you want it, Bovie, and we'll just get a container.
Probably be spring now.
Yeah. Okay.
I can let Randy know that it won't be till spring, Bobby, if that's,
And if the weather keeps up the way it's going, we can do it anytime.
yeah.
True. True. We discussed the culvert at the lake about.
Yes, we got that.
We got that one. And this is the hydraulic study for that from Brian.
Lake in Belmont, yeah.
Yep. And there's more to come on that. Okay, Town Treasurer's update.
So, November, we went into collecting delinquent taxes, so there's not a whole lot of activity in our cash other than going out the door this time of year, paying the school for education. And we are still in a good cash position, and we did receive just after the end of the month, our Summit Road culvert check for 180,000 came in. The state turned it around extremely quickly, which is great. So cash is okay for now. Talking about the Beaver Meadow culvert and things, I will say, I did attend a webinar today. The Vermont Bond Bank has a new program at a 1.3% interest rate that's funded with the Municipal Climate Recovery Fund. And it's largely funded by the state treasurer to support municipal budgets in flood recovery efforts. So that is open as of today. There's a really quick turnaround. It's due at the beginning of January. They actually, during the webinar, someone asked if they could extend it from the January 5th until the week after if people wanted, but we're right on like the edge of that maybe being something we need by year end. We don't need the cash right now, but we're riding that line, so something to think about, and I give you all the note. We have to talk further about what the remainder of the year projects look like for cash outflow. As of the end of November, we have spent just over $500,000 on flood repair. So we're, that's pretty close to our annual highway budget, just in flood recovery efforts, and we're not done. Some of the big projects that still have to happen may not happen until next fiscal year, but I don't know that this program will not, and it may not be refinanced again. It's the state put it together to support towns now, not next year. So something to consider. And overall, other than flood spending, our other spending is generally in line with budget. You will see there are some new expenses for the rescue building, just a few as we've taken over utilities, but minimal to date, and just new to our report for this month. And we did also pay out most of our support expenses in the month of November, so for the library and the History Museum and the various organizations and agencies that the town voters support.
Last month you talked about implementing credit cards. And I'm wondering if we do that, that's not gonna work very well for people who are trying to get the discount, because they won't get a discount if they use a credit card to pay their taxes.
I wouldn't want to accept credit cards for tax payments. It would be for other items if people wanted to pay.
Would that be kind of a pain in the rear, rather than accepting checks and cash?
But that's a conversation I would want to pursue more with Carol. I haven't proceeded further with it, but I know people ask often, and it is, it's pretty rare that you can't use a card or some other form of payment, cash or check, so it's.
I know, and that means that she would have to make up another chart to go the 3 or 4% that has to be.
No, it can be built into it. You don't have to calculate it manually.
Right, I know that, but however, that would just be something more that, because then people grumble about having to pay the extra.
Well, and then they can pay cash
They
or
don't have
check.
to pay that.
Right.
Other
We
towns are doing.
We wouldn't outlaw cash or check.
Like,
I wouldn't do away with those options. It would just be adding. And it would be in conversation with Carol not to add more work.
could be like dump stickers, like
Right.
dump stickers, that type.
Yeah.
Transfer stickers.
Could be over certain amounts too. Like
Yeah,
a minimum, credit card minimum, so she's not processing for like $3 stickers.
Yeah, there are a lot of options, and we have the say in what that would be. It's just,
Right, and a lot of places are charging that 3 or 3.5 or 4%.
Take away from handling cash here too, which.
Yep.
From an accounting perspective, probably easier just to have it electronic. Like not handling the money.
the fees don't
And
flow
checks
through
and so
the
forth.
town at all.
Yeah, that's up for some more discussion on.
Yeah, I
Yep.
haven't,
Yep.
at this time, have not moved forward with that, so it's something I'd like
It's
to
worth
pursue.
It's worth looking at anyways.
The only other thing, we did close out a Conservation Commission grant, the tiny grant that they had had has finally come to an end. So and we did receive our final reimbursement for the municipal planning grant that funded the Belmont Village Plan project.
Okay.
Another note, I just wanted to, this was a state announcement, but Act 127, Vermont's education funding formula with pupil weights. They're rolling out, some of you may have seen this in the news, but they are putting the new weights into play in the next coming tax year. And they threw out a scary number as a potential increase of 18% as a first forecast. Hopefully that will come down. I expect it will. The governor immediately said it needed to, but it's just of note as we move into our budget season that, of course, the state's education tax plays a big role in our property tax.
Yes. No, absolutely does. There's been tons of conversation around that on the news. Any questions for Liz?
Back to the bond. So if we do Beaver Meadow, rough numbers, it's probably another $400,000, especially if we involve engineering. There's some other projects. I mean, probably safe to say we're gonna have double what we have right now easily.
Our guesstimate is like 1.4 total.
Yeah,
With FEMA right now.
so we won't meet again until after the due date on this bond.
Yeah.
Seems like, and interest rates with the way the CD is, our CDs are right now, we would be better to put our money, not outlay it, have the money in a bond and pay it once the FEMA money came in,
Right.
and still collect interest on $1 million because we're
Yeah,
4 to 5% right now on.
It's a 1.3% interest rate offering.
In the CD rates that we currently have
Currently 3.75 or higher.
are higher.
Yeah.
So it seems like something we should just probably see, just like that equipment loan that we were looking
We're
into,
still waiting on,
but
which should be anytime now, it's in December. But I'm happy to pursue, the overall requirements for it are not expensive. They really want to make this accessible to towns.
seems like we should just seize the opportunity.
agree.
And we won't find out, there'll be time to review what the official terms.
Applying doesn't mean we're committing either.
Right,
Correct.
We have to sign something when the final comes time.
correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think
No, I agree.
it'd be worth.
And it is considered a short term, initially, this is a short term loan. It does not have to go to the town vote, to the town meeting at this time if we want to take advantage of this. So it's,
Minimum 100,000.
so I'm happy to pursue it if the select board would like.
Make a motion to pursue the bond bank with the intent of trying to apply for the dollar. Just try to apply, I guess. You don't need a dollar amount.
Yeah, I'll talk to them and see what they suggest and what we can apply for.
Apply for.
Because if there's some,
I'll second that.
Yeah,
Aye.
So the motion is to pursue
I think
further
actually-
information or
pursue the application.
Pursue the application, yeah.
Okay.
It's due in early January.
Right,
so
okay.
We'll be having our budget meeting at the end of this month.
Right.
This one, or
Is there any other?
December,
it is December,
Yeah.
beginning of January.
somewhere in between the two.
Any other questions or discussion around the monthly income?
Only other question I have is GNN's paid up, right?
Correct.
Okay, thanks. GNN for Summit Road.
Okay, we'll move on to animal control officer update.
So Laura couldn't be here in person, but she did provide a report, which is in your packets, going back from the beginning of the current term. She is serving, as you guys know, as a, sort of temporary ACO, until a new one is appointed. So there's nine calls that she summarizes here, since July 1st. So we had just asked her to provide a kind of mid-year report, and
I know
That's
also, I'm gonna combine that in here with that is, I know she was just filling in. I do believe we had a letter of interest.
we have received a letter of interest in supplying a letter of interest from Adam Carl, and he and I had a brief email exchange today just talking about the requirements. He wanted to make sure that it was acceptable to, he has a full-time job out of town, and so he wanted to make sure that that was acceptable. I said our current, our current ACO had the same setup, and so that probably wouldn't present a impediment to doing the job.
Okay, so now we just have to wait for a letter of interest.
A letter of interest. So we can have him submit
then we
that.
can move forward.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And he has the job description and all of that.
Any questions on animal control? Okay, we're gonna move on to town health officer update. Chad?
So on the animal side of it, we had a dog fight with Craig Tompkinson's dog about a month ago, so I've got to file that yet. I was just waiting for the certificate of having her put down. And then, let's see, I've delivered 3 letters in the for the junkyard ordinance, Buzzino, Achilles and Hijack. Hijack and Achilles seem to be, pretty responsive to that. I haven't heard anything or had a chance to run into Archie. But last time I spoke with him, he seemed pretty receptive to working on cleaning things up. Pete is kind of a little bit embarrassed, and he's like, yeah, I'll get on that as soon as I can. He was going to reach out to Caitlin and see what the rules are exactly. Hijack seemed to be in the process, I guess, he says. So we'll see how that goes. There was one other thing. I guess the only other thing that was pending was an inspection for rental next to the Gates farm there. Can't remember his name. Or there, Jill and her husband's rental property. So Randy, yeah, that's it. So I haven't heard anything back from them as far as okaying what needed to be done. But that's about it on the town health officer side.
Perfect, thank you, Chad. Any questions? Okay, moving on to Mount Holly Planning Commission update. John?
So on November 15th, we held our public hearing, well attended, and we got quite a few good comments. I think it was 2 weeks after we met and tried to address the concerns and comments we got. And special thanks to Caitlin, who helped revise the child care section. And thanks to Diana, who walked through essentially line by line the draft with us. And we unanimously approved those changes. And I've sent them to you for review and hopefully for the public hearing. And at that point, after you consider it, again, just a reminder that the Regional Planning Commission gets to weigh in as well. So we'd have to schedule that at the conclusion of your public hearing. So that's where we are. We did revise the report that goes along with the plan as well, just to update that we had the hearing. I sent a message to the state asking if they needed a record of that. I haven't heard back yet. I'll let you know. But you have the checklist as well that details all of the reporting requirements. So I think we have our best effort.
Okay. Yeah, I started going through it. Any questions or concerns for the town plan? I know I did receive a letter of questions on it, John, and I'll go through that with you.
Okay.
So I had one question.
Yes, Dennis?
Is the latest changes available to be looked at, John, or with all the changes?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe Carol has copies in the office.
Candidates.
And we put it on our website too. So.
I can put a link to it in the minutes, so that people can easily access it.
Okay, no,
Kathy would like to speak.
Kathy.
Are you having another meeting, since we just got here, are you having another meeting on this town plan? The revised copy is not the final one, is it?
No.
Okay, so there will be an opportunity for more revisions, to discuss it, vote on it, and so on.
Yes, because now it's in the town's hand and now we have to bring it
I have to go through it.
through another public hearing.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on the town plan? Or the revised one that we had? Okay, moving on. Appointment of new members. We've got 2 openings, is it? 1 opening?
Two openings.
Three candidates.
3 candidates. There is 3 candidates. Bridget Sullivan, she was not able to be here. I'll read the letter out. Dear Select Board members, I wish to be considered for a reappointment to the Planning Commission to fill a 3-year term. As a commissioner for the past 3 years, I've worked with other commissioners to rewrite the town plan. In addition to handling our other duties, we sought to input from entities about their future plans in order to accurately represent the needs of the desired entities represented in the plan. Our goal has been to plan for orderly growth and encourage economic development while protecting the rural character of Mount Holly and meet qualifications for future grant opportunities. I attended Vermont League's Cities and Towns and state training for Planning Commission members and reviewed applicable regulations and documents to further my understanding of our role in supporting town government. Those trainings include conflict, land use, introduction to planning commissioners, and local tree boarding trainings. I have knowledge and skills in planning and participating in many long-range planning efforts based on community involvement over a 40-plus year career. I participated in public meetings here in Mount Holly, have a strong interest in the future and well-being of our town. I ask you to consider reappointing me to the Planning Commission. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Bridget Sullivan. Another one that I have is Andrew Schultz. Hey, Andrew, how are you?
Here on Zoom.
Perfect. If you want to go through your letter, would be greatly appreciated.
Sure, happy to do so, and I'm sorry I can't be there in person. My letter, I'll just read my letter. It says, in July 2021, I was appointed to the town's planning commission to fill the remainder of a resigning member's term. For the past year, I've served as the commission's secretary. Please accept this as my letter of interest in being reappointed to the planning commission for a full 3-year term at the select board's upcoming meeting on November 14th. And of course, that was adjourned to today's meeting. I'm grateful for having had the opportunity during these past 2 years to give my time and legal experience to the town that has meant so much to me and my family for over 40 years. I believe, and I hope that others think, that I have contributed to the Planning Commission's work by helping to answer citizens' questions at public meetings and hearings, by understanding state and federal laws and how they apply to the town, and how those laws intersect with the town's ordinances and bylaws, and by helping to draft various documents, including the recent River Corridor Amendment to the Flood Hazard Ordinance, the proposed town plan, in various forms, subdivision permit decisions, and other things like that nature. I hope to be able to continue this work. To help me responsibly perform my duties, I've joined 2 Vermont League of Cities and Towns training sessions. I receive their advice memos through their mailing list. I've read many of those memos as they pertain to the obligations of the Planning Commission. Of particular interest to me, if appointed to a full term, is to review the town's ordinances and bylaws with an eye to ensuring that they are current with amended state laws and potentially simplifying and streamlining them so that it will be easier for our residents to understand and comply with them. Thank you for your consideration. Andy Schultz.
Any questions for Andy? Thank you, Andy. We have another one. Stefan, Michelle. Not here. I'll let you read this one, Diane.
Stephen Mitchell. I noted the notice in Thursday's newsflash requesting interested individuals to apply for membership on the Mount Holly Planning Commission. I am interested in one of the positions. I previously had been a member of the Planning Commission. I have regularly attended Planning Commission meetings and participated as the public in discussions regarding the town plan, construction registrations, flood zone, and river corridor ordinance, and a number of other issues. So I feel I have the experience to be a positive addition to the commission. I believe the Planning Commission is an ideal group to discuss potential town-wide issues and concerns. They can investigate and debate these issues prior to presenting them to the Select Board for consideration. If done properly, they can give a concise presentation of the discussion and what is the majority of the Commission's recommendation, thus giving the Select Board sufficient facts to make an informed opinion. I feel I would be a valuable addition to the Commission. I try not to have preconceived opinions on a subject. I encourage participants to fully explain their position. I try to ascertain what will and will not work. I do my best to help individuals overcome obstacles and achieve their goals while keeping within state and town laws and ordinances. I do my best to follow the spirit of the law as well as the letter. I want the citizens of Mount Holly to succeed without throwing arbitrary roadblocks in their way. I want them to want to do the right thing, not because I say so or that is what a form requires, but because they understand what we are trying to accomplish. I believe I can listen, learn, and try to do what is best for Mount Holly and for its citizens. Therefore, I am asking to be considered for a position on the Planning Commission. Thank you, Steve and Michelle.
So those are the 3 letters for the 2 positions.
And I'll just add that we received 4 letters of endorsement for Steve Michelle, and 5, 6, 7 for Bridget and 8 for Andy, including John McCann's request for reappointment for both Bridget and Andy. And I think we got one more by mail too. No, same one back.
Same one?
This was a duplicate, yeah, so just so you guys know that.
I'd like to make a motion for Andy Schultz,
Okay.
another term.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, Andy.
I'd like to make a motion that we nominate
you.
Steve Michelle.
Is there a second? I'll second it. The ayes?
Aye.
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 So, congratulations, Andy and Steve, for the appointments to the Planning Commission.
Thank you very much.
I thought there would be an opportunity for us to comment from the floor. I didn't realize we had to send it in writing ahead of time. It's okay, sorry.
Okay. Okay, moving on, set the date for town planning hearing.
How much notice do we have to have?
Yeah, I was gonna say, John, can you remind us of do you remember what is it the same as for other?
Well, I don't know if there's any reason to cut it close other than we do have the deadline in April, but I think if you did 30 days, you'd be safe
Okay. Is there a
Prior to the
statutory?
deadline.
for now. What's that?
Is there a statutory deadline like that?
Yeah, there's something here.
I know
Let's
it's
see.
in your packet, but.
I just always try to consult this checklist because I can never remember. But there is, what do we call it, the legislative hearing. Let's see what it is. My daughter got them on order, sorry. Let's see here. I think, so the first sentence in that section says, not less than 30 days following the submission
Okay.
by the planning commission. So I think 30 is probably a safe one. That's on page 4 if you're looking.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
So April's the deadline.
April's the deadline to have the completed application into the state for the Belmont Village designation, so,
Belmont Village designations can still go by the old plan, right?
no. The old plan is not sufficient to renew the designation, unfortunately. That's sort of part of the headache of this whole thing.
So mid-January sometime.
Yeah,
that's what I was looking at,
The second
so-
week, right?
We got the meeting on the 9th.
So we have our meeting on the 9th, so we could always have it.
Is the week of the 15th too late? It can be 30, it can be like 33
Right.
days or something.
Oh, okay, after 30 days, certainly. I mean, just
15th.
things that
So I
were-
would say the week of the 15th, so we can, do our regular meeting on the 9th and say we do the date for the hearing on the 16th.
Will that work for you and your schedule?
Oh, I'll make it work somehow.
So the 16th?
We'll do the 16th. What do we want for a time frame?
Same time?
6:30?
Yeah.
6:30 is fine. 24 at 6:30.
People can comment. People can comment before then, like this
Absolutely.
was handy to have
Absolutely.
outlined, so it's easy to.
Yes. And as people go through the revised plan, don't hesitate to comment, reach out, email the select board, call the select board, and get us those comments, please. Okay, moving on, Mount Holly Conservation Commission update.
We really don't have much of an update to give you today. I think I said that we have been disappointed to learn that what we were planning had been canceled vis-a-vis the Rutland County Solid Waste District, and we're not giving up completely. We're going to move ahead with some composting issues, and other than that, we're preparing a review and a letter to you guys with regard to our views of the town plan, which I should say the entire commission feels very positive about. So, thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Any questions or input? Okay, moving on, new business. Set the budget workshop meeting.
So I'm hoping we can do this in the first week of January, once school is back in session.
Okay.
That's normally when we.
I think last year it was the 3rd or the 4th.
Yeah, it's usually.
So, 3rd, 4th?
I'm open to whatever is better, if there is a better date for you.
The 4th.
Thursday?
Thursday, the 4th.
What time frame?
Usually start it.
Or do you do earlier in the day?
Doesn't matter to me.
As long as it's after 3 o'clock. That's for me, so.
Yeah, I can.
What's best for you, Jeff? Later?
No, we'd usually do it like 4:30, so that always seemed to work because we were out of here at a reasonable
4
time.
4 p.m. work?
4 p.m. will work for me.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay,
January
1-4
4 p.m.
at 4. Okay, the date has been set. Okay, review NEMRA reappraisal service contract.
It's in there somewhere.
I have this one here.
Next door.
Yeah, it's this one.
So,
So what you have before you is not the contract, it's the proposal. So if you more or less accept that proposal, then contract can be written. Actually, they have a draft of that ready also, but you don't have it with you. It's pretty. Contract actually covers all the things they have there in that proposal. Our district advisor has looked at it and found it to be all right. We spoke to her today. One of the big drawbacks in the proposal is the reappraisal will not be complete until 2028. and the state is well aware of that situation statewide. So they can't push for us to push to get something done sooner. So.
And the total cost for the reappraisal is listed as $130,200.
It may be a little bit higher. They didn't have the number of town-owned, let's say non-taxable parcels, which there are 19 of. The town, the church.
Right.
The railroad has a piece of property, and the United States Forest. So those weren't included yet, but that's a nominal sum. So.
Looks like the payments are almost $5,500 for 24 months, beginning July of 26.
Pay not by the month, by what they actually completed.
Correct.
Yeah, rather than just doing it. Because if they got behind schedule-wise over the 2 years,
Right. We'd be coughing out funding for no services. So one thing we'd like to look at with that is pay as completed instead of the monthly fee. I don't know if they'll do that.
Could ask them and get back.
And what are the funds that we have set aside for it now?
I think about just under 85,000 in the reappraisal reserve. So that, the time difference is actually helpful as far as reaching that. It would be helpful to have a copy for just looking at the potential additional reserve. I know we've taken funds that the state has sent in years past.
Supposedly there'll be one more payment, comes in March or April. After that, the new law looked like it had taken that away, but they may have to do something different. So, but we probably should plan on paying about 30 to 40,000 of that. But there's plenty of time to do that.
Yeah. Let's reach out and see if they will, for a payment schedule, base the payment schedule on parcels completed. So, to Jeff's point is, because if they get behind with the statewide reappraisals and we're continuing to pay out $5,500 a month and they're pushed out a couple of years, that takes the capital out of potential interest that we could gain.
So I think I'm gonna offer that the parcels won't be completed until well into the project. The information will be gathered, but not a final number developed. So, and that may be why they are gonna build monthly. But we can find that out.
Yeah, let's find that out. It isn't gonna hurt. Because the interest in our pocket for the town is better than elsewhere. So we'll just ask the question.
So we should start budgeting next year for that 30 to 40K gap.
I agree. Okay, moving on, discussion, creation of plowing policy.
There was one little change I did add to this. Down on the last paragraph in the middle, David suggested that we should change thrown to pushed.
I don't know, I think Bobby throws it.
How does it work with a policy? Anybody have any clue?
Just like in terms of,
do we review it this month and vote on it next month, or? How does that work?
Maybe just review it. I mean,
It's not.
yeah, it could go either way.
You could adopt it tonight if you wanted
can,
to,
we
or
can.
you can push
There's
it.
not a lot of
We
changes.
can also
to this.
revise it, 2 months from now.
Yes,
if we want
yes,
to revisit it.
absolutely. Yep.
After all the complaints that we were getting because of mailboxes being hit with slush, for the last two and probably 3 weeks now.
Unfortunately, it's all we've had is wet, heavy snow.
Exactly, and I figured we needed to have something in place.
The only thing I was thinking of is the amount of times we have to go over it. Like, is there a way to put in the narrative, like, once in the morning, and this wouldn't work, but once in the morning, when it's in the afternoon, like we make a pass 2 times a day, but it's really got to be based on, maybe at the minimum, just so the expectation is not to go out there, and maybe it's tied to inches, like we're going out at 3 inches or something like that. I was just trying to think of something like that, so the expectation was, or is it just covered by bare roads? We're not doing.
We do not have bare roads.
Right, so is that just
That covers it.
Yeah.
That covers it.
This is the only thing I was just trying to, only comment I had.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough with this heavy wet snow because that is, you don't even have to get close to a mailbox to do anything to it.
Well, even just on the roads, like, Monday the roads were so soft. I'm guessing that's why, like a lot of the gravel roads you couldn't touch because there would be nothing left.
Try to wait until
You
it's
just-
like over and enough on there to be able to
you just-
hold the plows up.
But people don't know that, like might not think logically that
Boy, they will when they look at their
there'll be
lawns
nothing
in spring.
left. Right.
Or their own driveways, because it's horrid. I'm not opposed to adopting this tonight, so I'll make a motion that we adopt the town of Mount Holly's town policy for winter road maintenance and guidelines in mailbox damages as written. Not saying it won't be changed at a later date. Is there a second?
I'll second the policy.
The ayes? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I can post it in the tip chat so people can be aware of it.
Yes.
The policies also go on the website?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we put a copy in the vault
Yeah.
too. There's a binder.
Yep.
That one.
Diana, will you send me, or did you make any changes since you last sent it to me?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so maybe you'll resend it.
I
and
will
then I'll
resend
post
it. I'll resend it.
And then we can put it in the news flash too.
Absolutely.
This is the one that's revised.
No, wait a minute. This one is. It's 2 pages, that's a single page. Sorry, did I make you write again?
I did mine on the back side. Oh, it's on the back. That's the right one.
Okay, moving on to ongoing and old business. Some additions that you had.
Okay. It was Billy and cleaning the town garage.
Yeah, you can give that to Caitlin.
Great.
Okay, update on Mount Holly, volunteer rescue, dissolving and transferring of all their assets.
So this is just a quick update from me. They have confirmed receipt that they received the notice of default, and it has been the 30 days. That is required by the original contract. They have also confirmed receipt of our request for the transfer of financial documentation, equipment, and supplies. And then I'm also just confirming that the town now does hold a coverage policy through ASIP for the building and the ambulance and the building contents.
Now, all contents accounted for.
No,
Okay.
they have been requested. So I think the next step is to follow up on that, on the request.
Now, how about all of their minutes and or documentation?
Financial yeah, we're not entitled to their minutes,
Okay.
but we are entitled to financial, certain financial documents, which we have requested.
Okay.
So I think it's just a matter of following up to actually
Okay.
get them, unless you've heard anything. No. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
So,
But they did confirm they'd received the request, so
Okay.
that was a positive step.
so hopefully they will come through and.
I'll make a note that I'll folk up to.
Yep.
Yeah.
To get the documents. Yep. So that covered, notice of requested for documentation. We are insured. And we do have an updated draft contract with Ludlow Ambulance. It has gone through our attorney. Our attorney has signed off in agreement with the letter of agreement. We can read it. This operational letter of agreement, hereafter agreement, regards to the provision of integrated systems of personnel, equipment, communication, and services to provide emergency medical, hereafter EMS by Community Ambulance Service, Ludlow Ambulance Service, to the town of Mount Holly, as described herein below. Transporter shall be the primary provider of EMS to the town, operating under District 13 of the Vermont Emergency Medical Service Systems. Transporter shall offer services that comply with the most recent adopted Vermont State Emergency Medical Services Protocol and with the Emergency Medical Service Rule adopted pursuant to 18 VSA 904B and 24 VSA 2682A3. Such services shall include, but are not limited to, maintenance of operational readiness with personnel, vehicles, equipment, and communication for responses to emergency requests on a 24-hour a day, 365 days a year basis. Provide primary emergency medical to the town, including 911 response, first responder service, and emergency ambulance response and transport. Transportation of patient to the closest appropriate hospital as defined by the Vermont statewide Emergency Medical Services Protocol, which may in some cases require consideration and coordination of aeromedical transportation when indicated by patient acuity and ground transport time. In the event that a need for 911 response is received by the transporter when it is on other calls in its primary service area, the transporter may relay on mutual aid per its department run card attached herein to send to the closest available ambulance to the emergency scene. That is pretty much no different than any other ambulance service in today. Terms and renewal. This agreement will be on the date of full execution by both parties as indicated below and will terminate on June 30th, 2027. The terms may be renewed upon the written agreement of both parties. The transporter's costs for its services will be calculated at a rate of $72 per 911 address. So the town will have to update, its 911 addresses, and Carol is so gracious to be able to help us with that service and communicate the number of 911s.
for the town. The town will update its 911 addresses once a year and will provide the adjusted number to the transporter by November 1st of each year. The cost of the services for the following year will be updated to reflect the new address numbers. The contracted amount will be paid in 4 equal quarterly installments to be paid to the transporter no later than September 30th, December 31st, March 31st, and June 30th. The town shall have no other expenses besides the expenses discussed. In the event of this agreement is terminated in accordance with its terms, then the town shall not be obligated to pay any quarterly installments unaccrued and unpaid as of termination date. The parties to this agreement each agree to identify and hold harmless the other party, its officers, directors, employees, agents, and affiliates from and against all claims, demands, liabilities, costs, expenses, or damages, including the responsibility, attorney fees arising out of in connection with the subject matter of this agreement, except to the extent such claims, demands, liabilities, or costs are caused by the negligence or intentional misconduct of the other party. This agreement may be terminated without cause by either party. The parties requesting termination must submit its request to terminate in writing no later than 90 days prior to the anticipated termination date. In witness whereof the parties have executed this agreement on the dates indicated below. So, again, this is the contract that has been supplied to the town by Ludlow Ambulance Service. Yes.
One clarification about your second paragraph. You referred to the EMS district and you said District 13.
Yes.
Yes.
Mount Holly, the town is physically in EMS District 10.
I think 13 is Ludlow's.
13 is Wyndham County.
Yeah, they're saying that they, as the transporter, operate under this.
They operate out of District 11.
Okay, we'll check that with them.
So yeah, you may just want to check and clarify that number.
We'll check and clarify those
District
numbers.
11, Mount Holly's in District.
It could be a typo. So
Yeah.
we'll check with that and.
Thank you.
Nice catch.
Maybe it was copied from the Chester letter.
Good. It could be, I'm sure. We'll check with that.
Do we want to adopt?
Make a motion to.
Oh, yes. Yes.
What you might want to do is,
Based on clarification.
well, I was gonna say, since they have not responded yet, so they provided a draft, which was very bare bones. We provided, this is the draft that we are providing back to them with
Okay.
the lawyer's input.
So
you may want to say you adopt it if they agree, or,
So I can reach out to Brandon.
yes, I have sent it to him.
Okay.
And to Stephanie. Saying that you guys would review it at this meeting.
Yep.
So I don't know how you want to
Yeah.
handle it.
I'll be revisiting and readopting it next month.
Right.
If they-
There's comments.
Yeah, if they had no comments, then,
We can, but let's get that district clarified too.
Okay.
And make sure they're okay with this.
okay.
Then if we have to have a special meeting to
Or you could
adopt
say,
it, and make a
yeah,
motion,
yeah.
we'll go from there.
Okay,
But
that sounds good.
they are supporting the town as we are here today, and they've done a great job.
They're on the call tonight.
I'll vouch for them as well. And we've had some fire calls and they've responded pretty quick. And interaction with them is very professional and very pleasant to deal with, so. Just to ease some people's minds, they've done pretty well as far as I'm concerned, so. There's them on the fire side, so.
They've done very well. I've had to call them too. I'm very impressed.
No, I've heard nothing but good. Any other questions or comments that want to be brought up about the ambulance service as we know it today? Okay, the couple additions, town garage cleaning.
So there's just a quote for cleaning. Where did it go? It's in here somewhere. Hold on. Here we go.
Cleaning of the town. Town garage, office, and bathroom.
Do you guys want us to speak to the need for cleaning or?
Cheryl's the one that says we need it. No, the office is pretty dusty and, you know, we painted it not too long ago, but it could definitely use a good cleaning and, you know, we've been pretty busy, so.
Paint over the dust.
I would add that computer equipment is probably at risk without some help.
Well, speaking of that, the printer is dead, gone, out. So, yeah, the dust is just, well, no water.
Preventative.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I can confirm it's very,
They just
very
got a new
dirty.
water dispenser too. The other one's gone.
So what are we doing about your printer, Bobby?
I
This
gotta
is the
get
first, okay. We have the coverage for that anyways.
Yeah,
Alright. Any
I just
comments?
keep emailing it.
I think we need it. I think we need it.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we hire these gals to do the cleaning at the town garage. Even if it's a once a month deal, but this initial cleaning has to be done. And then maybe we can follow up once a month thereafter. The initial cleaning is at $250. The once a month thereafter is about $165. So I make a motion that we hire these gals to do that.
Any comments before we?
How many
Yeah.
people are we talking about for the cleaning?
Just two.
Just two ladies?
They'd just be adding it to what they already clean. They clean the town office, so we'd just be adding the garage to the cleaning schedule.
Any other discussion? Okay, is there a second?
Second the motion.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the next one, fire department update.
Yeah, just some small updates. We are still in the process of trying to become a first responders unit. Steve, I'm sure will vouch, it's a process. We're working with Sue Poirier and Stephanie down in Ludlow. And as of right now, it looks like the ball is going to get rolling more so after the first of the year. Ludlow's busy. There's just a lot of, I want to make sure we're doing it proper and legal, and everything that we're doing is the right way. So it might take a little bit more time, but as of right now, I know I have six people that are interested. We also, as we discussed the last meeting, I have two new members that came from rescue. One's an EMT and the EMTA, which is a huge asset to us. And, as far as that goes, that's the update on that. We are receiving our new rescue skid on Monday for off-road rescue, so that's kind of a big deal, an exciting deal. So, other than that, I think every meeting thus far from here forward, I'm going to come and give updates in the fire department and give the chance for the town folk to ask questions and answer. So at least everything's transparent, nothing's hidden. I don't think that's been done in the past, so we'll try and see how it goes. So.
Kelly, what were their, Meg and Cody's,
So it's Megan Blaze and Cody, you're gonna ask me that question. Hess.
okay.
Yeah.
And they were, one is, what were their credentials again?
Megan is an EMTA and Cody is an EMT. and a firefighter, so they're both firefighters now as well.
Okay, great, thank you.
So with that, is there any questions, information you want from Bill?
That was easy.
That was easy. That was easy.
Good speech.
Okay, moving on to citizens' comments, concerns.
Oh, he knows about the building.
I had one.
Jim Hill. My wife and I have been on the Belmont Road since 1966. We put up signs regarding the speed. We might as well pick them up and sell them, give them to some town that needs them, because it's not working. We got a pavement, top of the hill, down to Gates Road, and you can really get going now with a nice smooth road. You do slow down a little bit by our house because there's a culvert that's pumped up pretty good, like a speed bump. I've thought about putting more on it just to see what happens. But just so you know, this, I did a little checking. The sheriff is around. I don't consider it the right time of day, but you know, they make the rules. I did some checking to see how much that's cost us and how much not that we're gonna try and make money on speeding and all that business, but we haven't collected a lot. So that leads me to believe that, okay, don't do that anymore, you know? And I used to get that at home. Don't do that anymore. But it isn't amounting to Tinker's Dam. So I feel I just needed to bring this up so that it's on record. I'm not happy with it, and I'm hearing others aren't too. So be as it may, if it's 35, that really means 35. And there's only one place in town that's got a 40. But
do you have a time of day that you think?
It starts about 5:30.
In the morning.
Start in the morning.
In the morning.
The traffic coming down there. And around school time, don't even be out on the road. Because Mama got up late, didn't get the kid ready, and now we gotta make up time to get to school. So
some morning.
It goes most of the day.
Most mornings.
We can reach out and see what the sheriff has actually issued for tickets. I don't have that off the top of my head. We had last year's.
It wasn't much.
You can butt in, so we support that.
What?
Just say, we would like to say that we support that comment. We have similar experiences on Tarbellville Road.
Or lately?
No, we can reach out. Yes, Dennis.
What's the cost of those flashing speed limit? They're paid by the week or a month?
You can buy them, just the post-mounted ones, for anywhere from like $1,500 to $3,000. They're not expensive, and you can move them around.
Used ones out there? Well, I just didn't know.
You've got a sign collection in your garage, Dennis. Do you have one?
But if I had one, we'd put it up.
I see Shrewsbury had one for.
Well, they
I would just get the post-mounted ones.
They own it. We can actually. They had grants for some of them too. I don't know if that's expired.
When they pop up all the time.
But we could also use ARPA.
We could.
So.
I think it would help.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
Down the hill in the morning.
We probably
just so you're aware.
Have a couple.
You know, I want everybody to be aware. People on TV, whatever, they read it in the chit chat. Just
don't think we're the only town. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Cranes added Tarbleville, we'd like to add Hillville.
Yeah.
The people are going 55 in a 30.
I'm on Hillville. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yep.
So.
And this end, when they leave the village, they leave the 25, they hit the gas, and by the time they get to our house, a couple of tenths of a mile up the road, they're doing 55.
Yes.
Because they're aggravated and
Yes.
they hit the gas.
You're absolutely right. John?
Do we have a school zone? I can't remember.
No.
I'm pretty sure the damages go way up if it's a school zone.
It drops down to what, 35 here?
Yeah, I don't think we have a school zone.
But if you put a school zone at the top of that last hill, and you had a radar sign, I think like they're great damaging.
I think the sheriff out there at the right time of day
would help. Would help.
Be the.
But it's hit or miss. He's not going to cover the entire town. And
But I've never seen him in the
I just
Gates Road.
there, so
I'll
make a request.
Yeah, I just had somebody on Old Turnpike Road going so fast down there, and I was doing 25, and I couldn't believe how far they got to 103, and I couldn't see them again.
But one other thing, I know I'm pretty sure we don't have a speed limit posted on Summit Road, but I know people take air off over the tracks. Like they hit the tracks and they launch the vehicle. It's going, easy 70, 80.
So let's reach out and get a quote on some of the digital signs that'll flash. I saw one as I was going to Manchester this weekend. Really exciting because if you were speeding, it said naughty, and if you were going good, it said nice. So
I think that the post.
Yes.
I'd just like to make a comment on the speeding. There's, during nice weather, early spring into this June when school lets out, and then in the fall, there are a couple of young children that ride their bicycles down. They're not acting up, they're doing everything they're supposed to, but then you have people going by them so fast, especially some, let's just put it, some of the bigger delivery trucks.
It's not FedEx, it's a lead.
Whichever one of them, but it doesn't make any difference. The size of the vehicle, and if they're going at a high rate of speed, and you have a young child that's riding a bicycle, and the air is just right, they could, and we would hate to see any child, or the other are pedestrians that are walking their dogs, riding their horses. And I had an incident a couple of years ago that if it hadn't been for somebody coming along and stopping traffic, I'd been laid out in the road because they came by with a trailer, excessive speed, right close to me. I was following the rules of the road, and my horse got scared. And you can have the best animal in the world, but certain noises will frighten them, whether it doesn't make any difference what the animal is. So.
Just a plastic bag on the side of the road.
So we're gonna
The hills have beat that to death. Good night.
So, Jim, before you leave, so you know, we're gonna reach out for some of those flashing signs. Not saying it's gonna work, but it seems to help the scenario. So, we'll reach out for a quote on some of those signs.
Just one last comment on that, sorry.
No, I was on a different subject.
We've observed that the sheriff doesn't really sit in one spot long enough, really. It seems about 10 minutes on average, and then they move on.
They don't know.
Maybe a suggestion to them would be, could you sit for a couple hours in one spot, and maybe take a little
Yep.
you know, look for a little bit better place to hide their car and be a little more sneaky about it, because they're kind of bold, like as though to suggest I'm here, please slow down. Like, let's actually catch some people, maybe.
Let's catch them.
You know?
We just gotta communicate with them.
Yeah.
Haven't
Yep.
given them.
Just to suggest.
They'll work with us.
Yeah.
So maybe a cardboard cutout of a sheriff's car.
Just buy a surplus one.
Yes, Dennis.
So coming into Belmont Village from this way, one guy parked his car on the right there at the library, and somebody put a blue coffee can on top of it. And then they come over, Don Travel noticed it. When they come over the top of that hill, they see that car with a coffee can thinking it was a cop. Don said they all were hitting their brake lights. But my concern is on one other subject, is the articles for the town report. I know the auditors have a date in January, they need articles.
January 3rd.
What's it?
The 4th.
The 4th of January, okay. Okay, I just wanted to, maybe make sure that
Put it in the
is shared too, okay? Thank you.
January 3rd due date for town reports for for
The
reports
town
for the town
report.
report.
Town report.
The articles.
Any other community concerns, comments?
Mark, is the select board going to make a decision on the rescue squad building for the fire department to take over so we can get?
We'll make a decision once we have all our Ts crossed and our Is dotted. We want to get all the information from them first for their financials and so forth, and do an inventory of what's there. I know Billy had reached out and asked because of the first response team that he's trying to put together. He would like to be able to have the ambulance, have it re-lettered for first response, and utilize that as a vehicle. I am not opposed to that. Whatever is best for the community and best for the town is the right decision. So yes, more to come on that.
Okay, well, I just wasn't sure about turning things over to the fire department.
Yep.
So, okay.
I just want to make sure we get everything covered first. Okay, if there's no more comments, announcements, and other business, town office is closed for Christmas. Town office is closed for New Year's.
Mark, we're also closed on Tuesday after Christmas.
We'll discuss that.
Don't be Scrooge. We did discuss it, but the reason why we discussed it was because on the MuniNet, a lot of the town offices are actually closed right straight through to New Year's. And we're not.
We can't afford to be closed.
I know.
Okay.
So Christmas Day, December 26th, and New Year's Day.
And the day after, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay. Dog license renewal begins January 1st. So let's get that communicated out there so we have good control over it this time. And poor Christine isn't calling and calling.
No, we're my gosh.
Okay, review and sign the orders. I don't have anything for executive session. Anybody else?
Mark, can I have like 2 minutes?
For executive session?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that being known, is there a motion to go into executive session, Title 1 VSA S313A3?
I make the motion we go into executive session.
I'll second it. The ayes? Aye.